The last lesson showed you the recipe to solve an equation with reciprocity. Time to test it out and see how well we can cook up a solution set with this. You can see the degree of the given equation is 4. So, we will divide each term of this equation by x squared to get a second degree equation. And dividing 0 by anything doesn't have any impact. Okay, now by the power rule, we can simplify the variables and get an x squared here. Then x, no variable here. And then an x and x squared. From the last lesson, you should know what's coming next. Yes, taking the common from like terms. 2x squared plus 2 upon x squared and minus 5x minus 5 upon x. We get 2 into x squared plus 1 upon x squared and minus 5 into x plus 1 upon x, while minus 14 remains as is. Call this equation 1. We have seen the process till here. But what's next? Suppose this x plus 1 upon x to be equal to y. Now, by squaring both sides, we can expand the left side by the perfect square formula, which after a few steps of cancellation and shifting can be simplified to this form. Now, look at equation 1 and the values we just found. They are clearly replaceable, right? Well, then just substitute the equivalent values and we get this. If you multiply these two inside the bracket and simplify the like terms, minus 4 and minus 14, a familiar quadratic equation appears. This is it. We have transformed the given equation to a quadratic form. You know the rest. Solve this quadratic equation by any method you want. I am going to factorize it by breaking the middle term minus 5y into appropriate factors. They are minus 9 and positive 4. Then by taking the common in the first two and last two terms, we get y into 2y minus 9 and plus 2 into 2y minus 9. Upon further taking common, we get this. What's next? Right, equate each bracket to 0. Now, instead of isolating the values of y from here and substituting in this equation, like we have been doing in previous videos, we can also do the opposite and plug this value in these equations. By doing so, we get these two equations. Let's simplify. Multiply 2 inside the bracket and take the LCM. Also shift the denominator to the right side to get standard quadratic equations. Now, these need to be solved. Try the quadratic formula this time. For that, we know that we need to compare this and this with the standard quadratic form. Once we figure out the ABCs in both, plug them in the quadratic formula. We are solving two equations simultaneously, since we already know how the process goes. This becomes positive 9 and 81. 4 into 2 into 2 is 16 and this is an obvious 4. Similarly, simplify it too. We get minus 2 plus minus square root of 4 minus 4 whole upon 2. Solve the radicals further and we get these values of x. Why are these written twice? A quadratic equation must have two roots. But if you get just one value, it means the root is repeated, but they are only written once in the solution set. I know the solution of this equation was a bit lengthy, but had you solved it by any other method, it would have caused you a lot more pain. Now that you are done with these roots, make sure your mathematical roots are strong by doing lots of practice.